Welcome, everybody, to Retro Repair Roundup, episode, whatever episode this is, 80,000 to 462.9 or something like that.
It's up there.
I like floating point numbers, so, it's a thing. Stand by. I just did a thing, and my computer is now broken, and I have fixed it. There we go. Sorry about that. So today, apparently, we're going to be talking about the tiny little fox that is on Jamie's shoulder. Jesse's shoulder. Sorry, wrong name. And then we're also going to be talking, but seriously, we're going to be talking today about VCF Midwest and number 20, episode 20, whatever it is. And we're going to just talk about the wrap up. Like, what did we like? What did we not like? How can we yell at Jim to tell him to fix it next year and other things? Like, I'm kidding.
Jim did an amazing job, and Jim is really good to be spending time with us. The kid gloves, Joe. The kid gloves.
Oh, take them off. I'm not made of sugar.
Well, we're not talking about making you wet, but that's fine.
So that's what I walked into.
Anywho.
I got it now.
Hey, Joe, do we want to say hi to some people in chat here? You gonna let me do that?
Yeah, let's yell through all the peoples. We've got Everything is Broken Garage. Hi, Ryan. We got Circuit Rewind, One Bit Fever Dreams. We've got Francois, Jack, Scrolling, Ian, yes, Sloopy, Garth, Jamie's Hack Shack is there. And there may or be Bob Darlington. Hi, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Veronica. Hi, Veronica. Some Rudy something or other thing I can't
Homestead
pronounce. I'm sorry.
Homestead.
Okay, thank you, Ron.
Still amazing deals on real estate out there. You just gotta call your agent today.
Who do we have on the show tonight? Of course, we've got me and Ron, but we also have Dave of Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, which you all saw for 8 hours already, or 6 hours already today.
Yeah.
He's really trying to broaden his horizons and get as many podcasts as possible, because we're already on as many as possible.
He accidentally locked himself in the garage. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. If he starts falling over a bit or saying, I'm hungry or I'm thirsty, we know to call 911.
Dave, turn off the car. Turn off the car. The windows are shut, Dave.
It's fine. He's got enough water and food for a while because he feeds the cats out of there. So he's got to have some sources.
Yes.
I can always get it out of the water heater. Let it cool a little bit.
Feast most fancy and fiddles most tender.
Yes. And then we have Jesse, the i8386SX, all of the letters, and your favorite virtual machine capable 386 x86 processor. And then we have the legend himself, Jim Leonard, also known as Old School PC, and in about 100 different names all around the world, who is a very important person in helping make VCF Midwest happen. We were talking a couple days ago, and I just saw him in our chat. I'm like, hey, do you want to stop by and maybe give us, an insider's viewpoint of what's going on with the show? And he very graciously said, sure, I've got time to waste or something. So
Jim very graciously said maybe. So I'm glad that it was a firm maybe.
Yes.
I said no, just so I could crash the party. So here I am.
As you notice, I very carefully didn't say we might have a special guest tonight, just in case, because I didn't want to put Jim on the spot, but it's fine. Yeah. So that said, let's start talking. So VCF Midwest 20 is over, and we were all happy that it happened, but sad that it ended, of course. Let's roll around. I want to start with Ron because he is such a good speaker, and he's next to the list.
I'm such a good talk guy.
Yeah, he make go word good. Me not make go word good.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to address the rumor, since Jim is here, that there was actually this is obviously not true, but I want to address the rumor that VCF Midwest is talking about moving forward the timeline so that next year will actually be VCF Midwest 26, so that way that the year of the event and the number of the event makes sense. I heard that there was some input from Tim Cook. Do you care to, comment on these these allegations.
I can neither confirm nor deny any such allegations. Additionally, my lawyer has advised me under the provisions of the Fifth Amendment of the United States to not answer any of Ron's questions.
Fair enough.
It's going to be a short show anyway. But let's start with what's our favorite exhibitor this year? What was the one thing out there that we liked the most, or is it? I like the whole thing. Stop putting like one person under the spotlight. What do you think, Ron?
I will say that there was an exhibit there that had a photo or a print shop made best in show on it, and it was really good. That I'll talk about here in a minute. But my favorite thing of this were the areas where people could sit down and do things like actually like doing the skills or learning the skills or interacting in a way like a social way with other people, because it is nice. Don't get me wrong, I love it when somebody's got a display. You can go up, you can sit down, they are absolutely passionate about this, they're ready to do a brain dump on whatever this topic is. So like June had a great exhibit where it was sort of like she was teaching people programming, things like that, and it was literally like projector screen, 5 PCs, and people could just come up and sit down and take like a mini class. That's really cool. I like the soldering projects and how consistently year after year that's just a really cheap thing that parents can take their kids to come and do. And you walk away with a memory of the event that's not like just a doodad. It's something you made. I really like that. I really like how the prevalence of LAN party stuff this year, because LAN party culture is a big part of all of this too, because it's like the people, they tweak the PC out and then they bring them together and everybody's like this big social kind of engagement. So LAN party stuff that started on the floor and then gravitated to other areas of the event further in the evening. So just in a general sense, where it's like the things you could sit down and just do an activity or take something home or learn a new skill. That's good stuff.
I agree. Dave!
Well, brevity is the soul of wit, Joe.
Yes, it is. Dave, did you have a favorite exhibitor or exhibit or function this year? What do you think?
Well, I liked pretty much everything, all right? But what I did like is John, the big bad biologist. I was so impressed when I zoomed in. If you saw my video, I zoomed in on all these enameled wire that he does on these projects, and I mean, it's like artwork. And and they work. And
now, unfortunately, because of all the enamel and wire he used, all of the old shellac records that have existed in the past for like old Victrolas had to be melted down, and they're all dead now. You know, so his booth alone destroyed an entire historical, thing. But anyway,
yeah, there was definitely a lot of wire. The other thing that I thought was pretty cool, and it was actually at the end of the show. Jeff Gerling donated a Mac Power book, and Steve had it, and his plan was to give it to a youngster, and we all put our YouTube stickers on it. We signed it. That thing was loaded up with stickers, and so of course he didn't want to photograph the kids, but showed the dad taking it, and I think that was pretty freaking cool. That's something that go on the mantle or something, or play with it. But I thought that was really neat to do that. And so, yeah, but and of course, meeting everybody in person, meeting Veronica, Taylor and Amy, you guys, Jesse, just it's always fun. I mean, the years go by really quick, but it's just, and it's gone again, but I enjoyed that. And so, yeah. And I wish, and I'm sure Jim has probably already heard this. I wish they would have it on Friday, start on Friday, but that's just me. I realize it costs more.
Yes. Well, as an angel investor, you could just make that happen. Just write a check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know you and Garth are like sitting on a gold mine. It's fine. You can just give them
And all that PCBWay money that you can push forward.
Yeah, right.
some of that California mountain home money, you know? Yeah.
But
Well,
Jim,
actually,
sorry.
I do live in a mother lode here. All the gold mines are right around me here. So there you go.
Get digging. Jim,
Yeah.
what was your favorite? And I know this might be a little loaded because you're part of the planning committee, so you don't want to play favorites, but
Pretty much. There are other people in the core team much more involved with things like planning. It might be worth noting that the people who handle the table layout, for example, it takes 3 people about 6 to 8 weeks to do the table planning because there are power constraints, there are networking and telephone wire constraints, and there's also the constraints from the people who submit their own table requests, like I definitely want to be next to Mac 84, or I don't put me next to Mac 84, or something along those lines. So
those bean farts, I tell you.
There's something. But no, I wish I could tell you what my favorite exhibit was, but I can't because I rarely get to see what's actually on the floor. I rely on you fine people and other video retrospectives to see what we like to jokingly call the show we put on. So from everything that I've seen, although I know all the retrospectives are not yet out, I really would have liked to have seen that electron scanning microscope. That's something I've always wanted to play with ever since I saw it demonstrated for the first time on 3-to-1 contact in 1980. So that would have been cool to play with. But honestly, I guess overall, if I could answer retroactively for the stuff I have seen, I love any exhibit created by anyone who is, let's say, 21 years old or younger. I think that's really, really cool, and I try to encourage that every time.
Yep. Love it.
I spent a lot of time this year. If I saw parents with their younger enthusiasts there, especially if they had a look on their face like that they wanted to be anywhere else on the planet, I always went up to them and just thanked them for bringing them out, because I was like, if these guys don't keep it going, it just goes away. And I asked a lot of young people. I was like, "Are you doing a booth next year? What are your plans? What are you excited about?" And there was a young guy that was like, "Oh, I want to do a table next year all about how to fix VCRs." And the dad looked at me just like,
yeah,
you could tell that this kid has an entire room full of half assembled VCRs.
Mm-hmm.
That's worth it. I try to do the same thing for the record. I do it at other shows too. If there's someone who's brand new to the exhibiting, I make a point to seek them out and try to learn exactly what they're trying to do and praise them. I think we were talking about this earlier, but that's actually the reason I continue to volunteer. I am replaceable, even though you guys tell me I'm not. But I like, continuing. This is like my 12th or 13th year helping out with the show, and the reason I do it is because it's not necessarily for my own edification. I'm old enough and have been around the hobby enough that a lot of the exhibits I've already seen or I own or have created. It's always fun to see something I've created show up as an exhibit, which is pretty nutty. Mm-hmm. But where do you move on from there? And it's making the show happen for other people, and that's where I get the most enjoyment out of it now. So
cool. Jesse, your favorites?
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot like this.
Yes. Hey, I mean, I can go all the way and do that if you want to be all the way.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. I know my favorites is meeting a lot of you in person. I don't like having my own table. Kind of took away from that, but I think despite that, being close to at least the groups, the Mac people, that was kind of nice. And and a lot of learning experiences from running a table for the first time, ever. Never did anything like this before, and it was cool to get out of my shell. And
Mhm.
Dave is still talking to me after I nearly killed him on the way back from Galloping Ghost. That's a plus.
Mhm. Mm.
Running
We
an exhibit
survived.
can be a great way to overcome your fear of public speaking.
Yeah.
I flunked public speaking 3 times before I passed it in college, and fast forward 20 years, and I'm putting together one of my first exhibits for VCF Midwest in 2009, I think it was, or something. And it's a lot easier to get out of your shell when the people you're talking to have exactly the same interests as you. So if you're
Yes,
cracking,
that absolutely does help a lot. I can tell you if I go into anything else, it's 5 minutes. I'm done with this now.
Somebody walks up, ooh, you have the thing. I'm like, you want to talk about the thing? Let's talk about the thing. Yes. And then
I love the
25
thing.
minutes later, there's a line of other people wanting to talk. And
Yeah, I think like Jack 68 and I talked for about an hour at the show at one point.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
Is it time for my favorites?
Yes.
Or did I cut you off, Ron?
No. I enjoy that too. That's all I was saying.
My favorites last year and this year are always the edge cases, the things that you, as the average vintage / retro computer user, you don't think are related to the hobby, but then you realize are. And then you're like, ooh, that's neat. I had never thought about that before. Things like Shady Tell, of course. And why is that important? So much of our modern computer technology came about because Bell Labs and AT&T developed a lot of the physical technology that was used, like the freaking transistor and other things like that made stuff, reliable tubes, reliable relays, fiber optics, all that stuff, But I also like to see things that are just like they're subject adjacent, but not necessarily computer related. There are a lot of crafters there this year that had nifty things. Somebody brought just paintings that were like nerdy, techie. People run around in costumes and stuff. That's always fun. There was a lady there. I had a good 15-minute conversation with her. She had Victrolas.
Yes.
Just Victrolas. Sure, why not? And she was explaining how you wind them up and how you have to be careful that you don't overwind them and you unwind them when you're done and how they work, and explaining, this is how all this stuff works. And a lot of that audio technology ended up being in the phones that you use that ended up doing the computer stuff. So it's like steps and steps. Of course, then you've got the electron microscope, which is computer based, but it's like, it's not a computer exactly. It's just this gigantic piece of industrial scientific equipment that would look perfectly paired next to an X-ray machine or a VAX or a DEC or something, or a PDP, or something like that. And I like those edge cases because you're like, oh, there's some Macs and there's some PCs and oh, there's a mainframe. Oh, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah,
and you have to stop and stare at it for a while. So those little surprises are nice.
I like that too, because it's definitely it lets you experience something that you can't normally experience anywhere else. And that's where, when the people bring out the big iron and they bring out all the the weird old technology or the relay stations and all that, it's neat because, and then again, everybody's very excited about telling you about their passion. So you can stand there and have a hour-long conversation and learn everything about this subject, and then go home and be like, I can't afford any of this, but it would be super cool to be able to get into whatever this thing is.
There are many downsides to having a ludicrously gigantic show, but one of the upsides is that we can deliberately let in things that are vintage computing adjacent. We do not have to strictly limit to, this must have a CPU or it isn't allowed. So we have welcomed people who want to set up exhibits like the electron microscope, cosplaying as a phone company, as you found out, cosplaying as a cable company, as a cable channel. That happened this year as well. There's a local video preservationist and video tech person, I believe his name is Andy, and he and his friends put up this whole thing with reel-to-reel video and cosplay to cable channel. Things also like the like MDCon, which is the small traveling road show of mini disc players, and things like that. And then one of my favorites, actually, which is actually vintage computing related, last year there was someone who was blind, and his entire exhibit was assistive technologies, speech synthesis, real-time braille readers. Utterly fascinating stuff. So we do try to preserve that, how shall I put it, bacchanal of a show by branching out ever so slightly.
Yes. The show isn't just the exhibits, of course. There are the breakout rooms and the presentations, which are an important part of both the daytime and the I'll say the post-show periods. During the day, the talks tend to be a little more, how should we say, technical, probably, and then the after hours one, where more people are slated to be able to attend because they're not floating around the show or running their booths, tend to be a little more on the fun side. So that said, what was everybody's favorite presentation or talk this year? I don't know if Ron gets to choose or gets to have one because he was.
I'm going to say Jim, because Jim was in every one of them.
Only technically, I was in the room.
Yes. You were in the room where it happened. The room where it happened.
Where the magic happens. I'll pick two from each room. I think I still remember them all. I should be. I'm editing them. In the main room, the second talk we had was someone who was controlling a 386 manually with an Arduino, manually single-stepping it and controlling it from software. That may seem incredibly boring, but it actually represents a huge leap forward for the basic building blocks, framework, and test harness for creating a cycle-accurate emulator for any chip, not just the 386 that he was doing. And that's great. That means instead of having emulators that kind of wing it, like DOSBox, we could in fact have real accurate ones that are down to the cycle accurate. And then another one, a personal favorite, just because I'm really interested in the company, Ken Van Mersberger. I hope I'm not butchering his name too badly. At the very end of the show in the main room, gave a history of Atari Soft. Why would Atari create a software division and sell software for computers that they themselves were not selling? And what were those games, and so on? There's a lot of fun trivia in that, and I hope to have that up soon for people who may have missed it. And in the secondary room, although there were some trials and tribulations, we managed to somehow squeeze a 30-minute chiptune concert in there at 10 o'clock Saturday. And the media archaeology lab from I'm blanking on the name of the university in Dallas Fort Worth, where VCF Southwest was held the past 3 years. They traveled up and gave an overview of what they were doing, and it's a lot of media archaeology, and some of it is very esoteric, and I love that. So those were two of my favorites. Of course, I love them all. But those are two off the top of my head.
I love all my children, but I have favorites.
That's right.
Yep.
And I suppose I would be remiss if I did not mention the Stop Bits concert at 10:30 Saturday night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Which is always a fun time.
Yes.
Jim, you brought up the speakerphone concert. And I went up and I talked to B ahead of her doing the show. And I was I said, B, I heard you doing a show. She's like, yeah, you've got to come by. You got to check this out. It'll be a lot of fun. And I said, is it like an electronica sort of thing? And she goes, it doesn't even start to cover it. And it didn't. So
yeah,
if you were somebody,
forgive me for stepping on you.
No.
When B showed up with 3 synthesizers, an Apple II, a mixing board, and various other ephemera, I got very nervous because I thought we had established beforehand, this room only seats about 30 people, right? I don't even know if there's room for the equipment, let alone the audience. But, we worked around the limitations we had. And as far as I know, the concert was pulled off without a hitch.
Yeah.
I will not be posting video of that concert at B's request, but I did provide some video footage of it and of the whole concert, and I'll give it to B, and B will be putting together their own video summary of the concert. So hopefully other people who missed it can enjoy it.
Yeah, I was going to say, she put some of the stuff out on her YouTube channel so you can watch kind of the highlight reel of it. And it's like a multimedia extravaganza. There's chiptune music, there's a video that goes along with it, there is spoken word poetry. It is, if you've never done acid and you've got a government job, absolutely it will.
I am reminded of the 1980s video-based performance art revolution, and I think this qualifies, and I'm a fan of that.
Yes.
That's great.
It was something. The word I would use is challenging, and that is not a negative thing, but it's something where you would go and it's like, this is what this artist is thinking about and what they're feeling, and some of it it's comedic, but it's comedic, and it's also, there were some poignant things in it as well. So I'm glad that it's going to exist in some form, even if it's just the abbreviated form that B has out on our channel right now. But that type of stuff, that's I love seeing those type of things.
Absolutely. Dave, did you get a chance to see any of the presentations or talks, and what did you think?
Well, I love the talk between Ron and Steve. I really liked that presentation he gave. and of course, the stop bits. I think that kind of overtowered everything. I mean, man, they rocked that place. Yeah. My son, though, he went with me. He goes, Dad, I really like to know their music, but I didn't understand a lot of it. What are they doing?
Yeah.
I said, it's okay, Drew. It's just, it's computer stuff.
And print. Hello,
rip out the battery. That's pretty universal.
20.
Rip out the battery. Yeah.
Also, he's like, Dad, this burger is raw. A little insider dinner stuff outside the.
Oh yeah. That was that was Galloping Ghost, or when we went to dinner.
Yep.
Yeah,
we'll be talking about that a bit.
Yeah, okay. So,
while we're talking about stop bits, I do want to mention that they have their album out on, is it SoundCloud or Bandcamp?
Bandcamp.
It's on Bandcamp.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go hunt for them, the Stop Bits, on that service. If Ron has the URL and wants to drop it in there, please.
Sure, I will do that now that you're putting me on the spot.
Yes, Bandcamp. Jesse, did you have a favorite presentation if you were there? Which he may not be, because he mentioned in private chat that he had to take care of something, so we'll come back to that. There it is. We'll click the button. We both do that every time, Ron. Every time.
I know, but you said, please do this thing, and I did the thing, and then you joked it up. You were like,
well, it's me, buddy. That's what I do.
I know, it's fine. I still love you.
It's a thing. Anyway, that's sad. Other things. Is there anything that we would like to see more of at the show?
Yes.
Do we want to see more youngsters? Do we want to see more crafts? Do we want to see more telephone equipment? Do we want to see more people? Do we want to, I don't know, see a whole bunch of Zephyrs floating around barely clothed? I mean, whatever floats your boat.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm making
the thing that I want to see is just more of the event. I just want to see things continue. because I think that it's a fun opportunity for people to get together, to share their love of this hobby, and get other people excited about the things that they're excited about. And it's one of those things, because you go home, you end up in your little corner of the hobby, and that's fine. But I don't always, it's fine making fun of Coco people, but I just want to expand it beyond Sloopy. It's like the poor guy. It's the abuse that he takes. Surely there's other people that can take a punch. So I'm joking, but I do want to go out and learn about other people's stuff, and I want to see things that I can't see locally. Like there was a Ken and Cat there this year, so you could sit down and Jeff Raskin's vision of
the Ken and Cat. I wanted to see. Darn it.
Jeff Raskin's vision of what the Macintosh was supposed to be, when everybody was like, you know what, people love word processing and nothing else. So there was a Ken and Cat. You could sit there. It was up. You could play with it. You could save a file, and that's it. That's all you can do. But no, there was just a lot of neat stuff, and it was a good time. And again, you can't just do that at home unless you own some of this stuff. So
sure. Jesse, we'll give you a chance. What do you want to see more of at VCF Midwest? Your mic is on.
You're muted. You're actually muted in the software.
We'll go to Jim while Jesse figures that out. Jim, what do you want to see more of?
Everything. More people. I guess I'd like to see a little bit more people on Sunday. I don't know why the attendance drops off so much on Sunday, but that's about it. I have no complaints whatsoever about the show. I love the exhibits. I love the people. All right, I'll say this. This is totally selfish. I would like to see 20% more volunteers. Because the core group is 7 people, and we did have a lot of wonderful volunteers. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge them right now. I did so profusely throughout the entire show, but if you volunteered in any way to help set up or tear down tables, chairs, tablecloths, the talks room, etc., you have my heartfelt thanks, because you saved my butt, you saved our butts, and you made the show happen smoothly and without a hitch. Other than that, I was fairly happy with everything that happened, and I just hope, like all of you, I hope that it continues. And we haven't figured out that the Vintage Computer Festival Midwest is officially run by Chicago Classic Computing, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. Whenever you buy a t-shirt or buy something off the garage sale, or see, this is the pitch now, I got to give the pitch. Whenever you participate or buy something at the auction, I'm hearing a little echo, by the way. That might be Jesse. All of it goes into the nonprofit, and the nonprofit then pays for the space for the show and buys any equipment and schedules the services and things like that. So the donations, everything is a donation. So the donations at the current show fund next year's show. I do not have numbers, so I don't know how that went. But of course, just like all of you, we hope that it went great and that we'll have another show next year.
Cool.
Veronica asks, do volunteers have to show up early on Thursday?
They do not. The way Dave asked, why don't we have a full day Friday? A lot of it is money. Some of it is time. Some of it is scheduling. We're at the limit. We have to abide by the limitations that the venue gives us. If they have an entire conference going, and it ends Thursday, then obviously we can't have a Friday, because we need to set up. There's our setup, which is power and tables and things like that, and then there's the exhibitor setup all day Friday. So, and it's a lot of money. So, and we're a nonprofit. Did I mention that? So that's the primary reason. To directly address Veronica, this year, and I believe last year, in that venue, the first volunteers we need are actually Thursday night, because we're typically given first access to the space Thursday at 5 p.m. So our first wave of volunteers sets up tables provided by the venue and any chairs and tablecloths. And then the next day, we have a rental company. Neither the venue nor the rental company can provide the 500 odd tables that were at this year's show, which is almost insane that I'm saying that out loud. But no rental company has 500 tables on hand, so it's a combination of the venue and the rental company, and they do their thing Friday morning while we still continue setting up power. And then after that, it's just volunteers helping with remaining little things, and a lot of it is tear down. We need help tear down. So, but by then everyone's tired, so I can understand.
Now, Jim, you had said earlier that it takes several weeks for the volunteers to lay out or do like table layout and
Yes.
route power and figure out the data situation for phones and all that type of stuff. As someone that was there on Thursday night, I absolutely appreciate how well organized it was, that everything was on paper. There were printed plans people could pick up and they could go and they could start setting things and helping out. It went really, really smooth. The joke that I was going to make is it takes weeks to create the planogram for that, and it felt like it took weeks for us to execute that, but that's more of a failing on our part than it was on the planning part.
None of the organizers had any complaints about volunteer stuff at all. No. It's I would like to give full credit where credit is due. The primary showrunner is Jason Timmons, and him along with our PowerPoint person, no pun intended, Pat Finnegan, who also coincidentally created Vintage Computer Festival Midwest at University of Purdue almost 25 years ago. And then coupled also with Joe Zatarsky, who is part of the Shady Tell phone exhibit. And those three work through it. And it takes more than 4 weeks, and I thought it took 6 weeks this year. So it takes a long time.
It was amazing. I will tell anybody, people in the future that are watching this a year, it's Ron from the past. I'm telling you right now, bring a tape maker, because that would have saved us a lot, because there were several like doing the table setup and things like that, just trying to figure out where it's like, yes, like where you are off the wall, how far away things are. And there were people that had it in their mind that it was like, once my hands get off the top of this table, that it is now set forever. This table will never move again. And it's like, it won't. I said, we just need to rough this stuff out, and then people will come back later and tweak it and get the final thing. You don't want to be 2 feet off over here, because now you have to think about that we're now like 10 feet off on the other side of this. But you can get things pretty much roughed in. So there were a couple of young guys that were setting up tables. They were busting hump to get all this stuff done. And then when they were done, they did the whoo. And I said, fellas, I'm looking at the planogram here, and you see this little black box here? Yeah. I said, that's a pillar. You notice how that pillar is 3 feet on the other side of your table setup? I said, and how in the picture it's in the middle? I said, we're going to have to move everything. And they're like, no, this is exactly how it shows it. I'm like, right. But you see, these tables are 8 feet. You see where it says 3, these little boxes that say 3? Yeah. That's the gap between. We've got to go through and readjust all that. And they didn't have an ego about it. They were like, oh. And so just got right back to work, and we knocked it out, and it was great. And then when we got done, that's when I got nervous, because I didn't realize that the venue's tables only cover like maybe 25% of the show floor, maybe
right.
If that. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people setting up on the ground this year. And it was like, oh no, the rental company comes in tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, well, thank goodness.
Japanese style. Everything's on the floor.
We try to iterate and get better every year. The process still has some kinks to be worked out. Other shows come in the day before and pre-mark everything on the floor. That's a double-edged sword because we would need to pay for a day to come in and do that when that's a day we're paying for when people can't enjoy each other and the space. Also, it's that much more work to remove these marks off the floor because we have to leave the venue in the state we found it Thursday at 5 p.m. So currently, you're right. It's a combination of diagrams, measuring, laser measures, floor roller tape measures, and all that kind of stuff. So,
but you're right. You can't do anything that interrupts the space because it's just more work later. So, like they say, take only photos, leave only body order.
Can I answer? I see the caption. Can I answer Sean Fahey's
Sure,
thing
go
here?
ahead.
I'm assuming that's why it's popped up. How much is a table? Can you ask to be next to someone you know for mutual support? This year, the tables were $70 per table for the entire weekend. That is not the full cost of the rental. Chicago Classic Computing subsidizes the cost a little bit. I don't know by how much because I wasn't specifically in charge of that, but please know that when you're paying for a table, it's not the full cost of the table. There are other conventions that charge $300 per table per day. Right. So there's that. Can you ask to be next to someone you know for mutual support? You absolutely can. While we can't guarantee anything, we definitely the main planner of that layout is Jason Timmons, who takes great pride in honoring those requests to the best of his ability, and
does
actually
a really good job at it. I have to add.
He did. Yes. We should all give
Very
a little, a little applause for Jason. He and for many years, even 10 plus years ago, he would try to have pods or areas that had a certain theme, even if the people didn't ask to be next to each other specifically. So, for example, the Big Iron is over here. VCF Midwest was the combination of when it moved to Chicago, it was the combination of two smaller conventions, and one of those was Commodore focused, and so there's always a very large Commodore contingent all in their area, and so on. So yes, you can absolutely ask in the comments in your table request form if you want to be next to people or not.
I do appreciate, because I do like how Jason year after year creates that grumpy old farts section, because I can just avoid that area and my day is better for it. Actually, no, people are really nice, but there are a few people that Sunday at 2 p.m. have got that look on their face, like they're like, I'm sick of you young people. I'm taking my pig iron and going home. And that's fine. See you next year.
Absolutely. Veronica, thank you for your wife's suggestion. I am writing it down.
Yes. Other thoughts from the group of things they'd like to see?
I would like to see, and this is something I've already pitched to Jim, but I'll just say it to get more people and just to get feedback on the idea, that I like the idea that with the two rooms this year was really, really great, because there are some things you need seating for 100 people, that it's got big appeal. You got to have a space for that. That's the stuff that you absolutely want to make sure that's archived and all that. But having a smaller space for smaller, more intimate kind of talks, that was really, really great. But what I wanted to say was that in the interest of young people and being able to get more engagement from youth in the hobby, to have like a 1 hour block that is basically sort of like a show and tell block for young people that may not necessarily have enough content for like a 10-minute talk, but they might have like a 5-minute, like, I finally found a space ball and it's amazing. And this was used for CAD stuff. And this is, I don't know why they sound like that, but they do in this scenario. But it's basically just a place like an hour that's kind of set aside, or 45 minutes or something, where young people can kind of like know to show up and be there. Mom and dad take the pictures. It's, it's kind of all that type of stuff. I thought that would be a neat idea, because then the onus isn't on them to fill out some big block of time, but young people could be like, oh, I'm starting a computer charity, or my school's STEM club is doing this amazing thing, and just kind of have a space for that.
I agree. And I've also written that down. I see Everything is Broken Garage is asking, Jim, do you allow corporate sponsors? Allow? Like we've refused. Yes, absolutely. Anything to subsidize the cost of the show. And in fact, in the back of the badge, which I happen to have handily in front of me, we did have some corporate sponsors, and let's get the reflection out of there. We did have some corporate sponsors, and we put them on the back of our badge and in other signage as best we could. And you can email info@vcfmw.org to chat with someone about specific corporate sponsorship requests.
Cool. What are
Jim,
we?
you can brag a little bit, Jim. It's VCF Midwest single-handedly bankrupted the Wang Corporation. It was like that was their last big push for promotion. So I mean, that's a task.
I can neither confirm
It's
nor
a bad
deny the
year for
bankrupting of any other company.
Well, I thank you, all the people that are involved putting the VCF Midwest show together. They do a fantastic job. We, as the consumers, when we go there, we don't really have a clue of all the work that goes in the preparation of putting this thing together, and we appreciate you for that, because we truly have a wonderful time when we're there, and that's the truth. It's just, like I said, it's a very pleasant atmosphere, and it's just nice to talk about different things when you go there. You see something that you never seen before. It's like, oh, what is that? Learn about it and stuff like that. But yeah, you guys do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Everybody does. It's not just us Core 7. It's everybody who takes the time to work on their exhibit for a couple of months and then present it. So we're very thankful to them as well.
Yeah. I have a couple things that I would like to see more of at the show. For anybody who's out there who's thinking of presenting or bringing something to the show or having a table or whatever, there are always a lot of mainframes at the show, big metal. But because of the nature of big metal, I think they tend to not be running. They tend to be, here's a box, look at the box. I would love to see more of these mainframe or super minis or minis be able to be rolled in and actually operate. Now, I know that's a big ask because, like, especially old tube-based or relay-based stuff is just, is it going to survive the trip with all of that vibration or whatever? But seeing a PD, like a small desktop PDP or VAX up and running with a terminal that people can play with and then print something out or run the Fibonacci sequence or something like that that they can play with. Now I think there were a couple there. I think somebody had a VAX running. But it's usually that section right at the front. It's like, here, look at the old machines, but like the interactiveness is missing. So like how much can I ask for that to happen and have that actually happen? Who knows? I mean, it's the nature of this hardware. The older that hardware gets, the harder it is to keep it working and maintain it and like take it across the country and have it still run. But yeah, so
I think that a lot of those groups have done a good job of having sort of like simulated experiences.
Yes, this is true.
Emulators.
This is true.
So
and I mean, that's a.
I mean, obviously that's up to the exhibitors, but over the several years, there have definitely been years when the show was in other venues as well, where people have brought in working VAXs, working PDP-8s, PDP-11s. Yeah. Sometimes the show is an opportunity for people to gather around a broken piece of hardware, collaborate, and get it working by the end of the show. I know that Mark of Curious Mark fame on YouTube was working with Jay, the founder of the CC Talk and CC Tech Vintage Computing mailing lists. They were collaborating on an HP mainframe, and I want to say it was around 2018 at our show. Unfortunately, a broken disc pack stopped that in the middle of the show, but they try. And in fact, the Vax may have been from our very own Pat Finnegan, one of the core organizers.
And I think the opportunities to actually run that hardware are better at the new venue, because there's actually like proper
Space.
3-phase power available that isn't gonna, when you turn it on,
Well,
take
we
the
had-
building power out. And
I mean, we've provided improper
Schumberg.
3-phase power at previous venues to the detriment of, well, I don't know. Let's just say fire marshals were not necessarily involved, but the 3-phase power is actually only one of the things. It's easier at the new venue because we have a proper loading dock with a ramp now, and so anyone has something super heavy, they can actually not try to bump it over a threshold or a stair or something like that. But yeah, it's up to the people. I know that there may or may not have been some interest to bring a Bendix to the show, but those are really big, really heavy, and really fragile. So there are limits.
And there's only like 2 good extant exemplars.
Yes.
Yeah, both are system sources, and one is in. Does David Lovett still have his down south right now after he fixed it? I don't think it's been shipped back up yet. So
I believe he does, which is a good time to mention. You should visit VCF conventions and festivals in your local geographical area, so you can see things that cannot be transported.
yes. We can't expect everybody to travel from California all the way to Chicago in order to show off the hardware.
If they want my friendship, they're going to try. I just, just saying, it's put in some effort. God, one of a kind equipment, whatever.
Yes. I think this is a good point to switch over to talking a little bit about the venue itself. This is, I believe, the second year at the new venue, the Schaumburg Convention Center. This year was also bigger than the previous year because last year we found that things were a little tight in spacing. If I may mention one thing that I would like to suggest, and it's regarding the table layout. It was way better this year than last year. More space, more interior space in each pod, which meant if you needed to throw stuff out in the middle to have like a storage stack, you could do that. More space behind the each table for backdrop banners and stuff like that. That was really cool. My suggestion, if I would like to add one thing, having been a table exhibitor who was shoved on a corner, no more corners. Where you had 2 tables like this.
Yo, those are the best ones, man. If you've ever had
No, and what I mean corner tables are good. It's like having the corner property. You're at an intersection, the traffic is great. My complaint isn't about the traffic, trust me. Trust me, my complaint is not about the traffic. My complaint only is that when you shove someone in a corner, especially if they're 2 really popular folks, both of those people lose half a table because you're bumping into each other on that corner. And I don't know if that's a logistical thing that can be solved, but
you can certainly request, please do not put me on a corner. Although, like I said, sometimes we're operating under constraints that we don't have too much control over. And you can say, don't put me on a corner. If you say no corners and I want to be next to these people, sometimes we have to make Sophie's choice there.
I mean, when they're, the tables are like that, that's the
the table by me, that's what they had to do.
Do that and leave a square in the corner where you could put a standee or something like that. That gives each table that extra 2 feet on the end that they're not losing.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
No, that's fair. That's fair. There were some exhibitors who mentioned to us that after the show that they were having to play, like footsie fights with the people next to them, or elbowing, trying to elbow.
Sure.
That is kind of a, you need to take care of your house problem. Like if someone is encroaching on your table 2 feet, yes, during the show once or twice we had to go over and be like, put our finger down and like, see this is the end
This
of your
is
table.
your line.
But it's inevitable that so there will be some personality clashes, and you may have to work on that.
I mean, you shoved me right next to Sloopy, and I had to listen to him complain all show long. I'm kidding, Sloopy. I love you to death. I will add, Sloopy brought all of the items he had built up for me over the past couple of weeks and delivered them in person, and then I was able to sell from that batch. So anyway,
Nice.
Sorry, little side thing. So that was
just
cool.
a real good guy. Real shame about that cocoa stuff, but just a real
I
nice
know.
guy.
I give him a pass because he builds Blue Scuzzy so well.
He does.
The venue, though, on a whole, I've never been to the previous venue, but all I can say is this current venue, it's gigantic. It's brightly lit.
Mm-hmm.
The air conditioning generally works.
Yeah.
On-site food, on-site bar, for after show if you want to get like blitzed. You
can be responsible. You don't have to be like, where's my purse, lady? You can.
That's my purse. I don't.
But it's on site. The hotel amenities there are really good. There's a hotel that's like a 5-minute walk away for overflow that is also less expensive. So you want to present, but you don't want to pay the money to be in like the Schwank Hotel. You can go to the Holiday Inn. That's fine. So, I think it's it's like right next to the airport. It's like 5-10 minutes from, well, it depends on the traffic, but 10 minutes from the big airport there. Not Midway, the other one, O'Hare. So good, super, super awesome venue. Awesome venue.
It's close to a lot of stores too, which I liked, even though IKEA confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, IKEA's like across the freeway. It's like right there. Oh, did you forget to bring something for your table? Just go to IKEA and get it. Like very, very, very convenient venue.
Yeah,
that has happened.
There was many blunders with me this year.
Yeah, we're happy with it. There are some other things that we also like about it. For one thing, not only is it close to stores, as you mentioned, but there's also a free trolley that runs in a loop between the venue and a mall and another mall and some other stuff. So even if you have no transportation whatsoever, you can still get out and get around. I think it takes about an hour to make the full loop or something. And the venue is actually owned by the city of Schaumburg, and that trolley is also provided by the city of Schaumburg, which is why inside the venue we have to abide by city of Schaumburg rules, including for safety and accessibility, 14 feet main corridors between pods so that people can get around. And there's, as you noted, there's less crowding. It's generally an unfortunate indicator of when we need to think about upgrading venues when the place becomes a fire hazard, or you have to kind of hug the wall to get past people when it's too crowded. But
Jim, I don't know how you meet people, but it's me accidentally rubbing my butt on a stranger. It's worked for dogs for thousands of years.
Yes.
I mean, you make fast friends or enemies. It could go either way, but
yes. Dave, your thoughts on the venue?
Well, the rooms are great. Love the TV behind the mirror in the bathroom. That's pretty freaking cool.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't take much to please me.
I mean, if you want to poo and watch Mama's Family at the same time, I mean they've got it.
They fixed it this year. The TVs don't turn on automatically. You got to press the button to turn them on.
Yeah, you got.
Last year, you would walk into the room when you flip the light on, the TV would turn on. It's like, no, I don't want to see the news while I'm
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I've got a real phobia about like daytime talk show people watching me pee, and so I'm glad that they resolved that because that was bad.
And I just like the fact that it's like a city. I mean, pretty much everything you need is there. Mm-hmm. And it's just and it's interesting that they can have several different venues going on simultaneously, which is interesting too, which is good. but as far as the way the show runs, I mean, I thought it, it looked like it was well managed when I was there.
Yeah.
Everybody seemed like they were having fun. I did not see any, disgruntled people or anything like that. Everybody was very happy, very pleasant. So yeah, I thought you guys did a fantastic job.
Yeah, the show, luckily there were no altercations at the show that were reminiscent of the cabin of a Spirit Airlines flight. So yeah, that's good stuff.
That's good.
I'm glad our veneer of competency generator is still functioning. That's fantastic. Just because I'm part of the chat, feel free to talk about anything that you did not like about the venue. If it's something, or about the show, I'm taking notes. If there's something you don't like about the venue, I'm not totally sure there's anything we can do about that. For example, people have complained to us multiple times. These hotel rooms are too expensive. Sorry.
Bring your own from home.
Nothing I can do about that. They're very, very nice rooms.
They are.
Very nice rooms. So
they are.
You see where the money's going.
Yes.
And believe me, I took advantage of that a lot. You did not see me in the lobby parties or anything very much because I have to conserve my strength and energy and back. So those expensive rooms were fantastic for getting 6+ hours of sleep to recharge for the next day.
I did not do that, but thank you.
I think most people did not do that, but
no.
I have to, or talks don't happen. And if the talks don't happen, I'm run out on a rail. So
I will say this. Anybody that's complaining about the cost of the venue, I think you need to keep in mind what all is offered while you're there. No one is forcing you to stay at the host venue. It is very expensive, but once you are there, it is, like Dave mentioned, it is kind of like a little city.
Insanely
it's
convenient.
Everything you need right there. You literally do not have to leave for the rest of the event.
And that's why it's expensive because you're paying for this self-contained option that just happens. Yes.
Plus, have you smelled the atrium when you first walk in the door?
Wonderful.
It's like a fancy lady. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I heard a little kid say. He's like, "Dad, it smells like a fancy lady in here." And I'm thinking, you know what, kid? I agree.
Was she missing her purse?
She was not missing her purse, but this one is. But it was really great. And I mean, again, you can go there, you could eat every meal if you wanted to. You can bring things in, you can make a little meal in your room or something like that, and then walk back to the venue and walk back to your room, take a nap and do all that. I mean, you can literally get there and never leave. And then if you need to leave, like you said, Jim, you can take the local ground transport and get pretty much anywhere you want to go.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Sean Fahey has a question. He's asking, are ADA rooms available in the conference block?
Unfortunately, I do not know. And I'm not even sure I'm qualified to guess. So that's something we can try to figure out for next year. As always, emailing info@vcfmw.org closer to the show time is the best way to figure that out.
I will say that because of the nature of the venue and the class and quality of service at the venue, I would say it's very, very likely if you were to make a request when you signed up for your block room that they would accommodate it. When the block first came out.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe sign up and then there is a number for there's a number we work with for block requests, and it's possible we could pass that on to you and you could swap it out for another room. We'd have to find out.
I signed up for my block room right when the block came out, and then a couple weeks before the show, a month before the show, I added a day on both ends because I wanted to, because I'm traveling from Ohio and I'd have a day to travel in and a day to travel out, so I'm not totally destroyed. And I called up and I asked them, hey, can you add this? I understand you might have to put me in a different room these nights. I might have to move around and stuff. They're like, no, you're fine. Not only did they add it to the one thing, so I didn't have to move a room, they gave me the block rate for 2 days that weren't in the block period. They just did it.
Yes.
So that's why I'm thinking, if you needed an ADA room, they would probably, if they have to put you on the second floor or something, I'm sure that they would accommodate.
I mean, there's probably nothing. If you call the main number for the hotel, there's a special word, and I cannot remember what the word is that they use to describe the people that kind of it might even be housing. But they've got a weird name for that group that specifically handles all of these like big events. Like we've got a convention coming to town. There's a big computer show. There's one of 15 Indian weddings going on this weekend. Whatever it might be. Every year. It's fine. Super like fun people, beautiful outfits. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Delicious smelling food. Yes, it's great.
Never an invite. That's my only complaint. But you can call and talk to that housing office, and they will probably be able to figure out. And if you just call, you can, and because in the first year where there wasn't like a bunch of rooms on Thursday, I had to just make a separate reservation, and then I called and talked to this housing office, and they worked it out because they were like, oh, well, what did you need? We'll make the rooms the same, and we're going to put you somewhere so that way that you don't have to change rooms. They were very accommodating, because I think they also realize that this event brings a lot of money into their venue. So, yeah, I don't know that it's specifically hospitality. I'm pretty sure that it was housing, because it's something like.
I think it is a weird name like housing.
It is a weird thing like that, though.
It's a little weird. Obviously, we'll get you that information as relevant. Do you guys want to hear a funny story about previous venues and Indian weddings?
Absolutely.
One of our previous venues, their business for the use of their large banquet space was essentially 99% Indian weddings and us. And we're the 1%. And every year they would try to sell us, upscale us on like some fancy light show and, like the beginning of a Bulls game or something like that. But the funnier thing is that every time we wanted to book for our traditional weekend, which is the second weekend of September, they would have to go and consult. I'm going to butcher it if I try, so I'm not even going to try. But they had to consult some sort of religious calendar. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
To see if it was a good weekend or a bad weekend. And the funny thing is that Indian weddings, the customers will never schedule if they believe in this thing that is a flow of good and bad days or good and bad weekends. Mm-hmm. And it was almost inevitably the second weekend of September that was a bad weekend, so it was always free for us to do. Also, a lot of people will not book on Friday the 13th, a common occurrence at the second weekend of September. So we almost, like I said, we've been able to maintain that rough timeline throughout, 10, 15 years.
And like Joe, when those blocks came available to book your room, as soon as I got the email, I booked it. And like a couple hours, there were no more to get. So I'm thinking, well, the price can't be that bad if everybody's trying to get a room. So, yeah.
I think the price is appropriate based on the venue. If that was the price at the Clarion, I would say that would
better
be
a gilded
big
Clarion.
It would be a big ask, especially since I'll pay for a breakfast, but no offense, the Clarion breakfast and the breakfast at this place, which is actually like a sit-down breakfast and all the type of stuff, it's almost the same price for like at the Clarion, which was like, all right, here's your roadkill omelet and get out of my face. And over at
delicious possum.
Yes, over at the public house, which their fonts really need some work. If you've seen the sign for it, it really is very, as it would be described by my grandparents, as higgledy-piggledy. It's like they got the people that did the font work for the Addams Family movies to put their signage up. Like it's like it's skinny O's and wacky. It's like okay, that's fine. But but yeah, it's basically the same price to eat there, and it's a much higher quality meal. So no complaints on that.
Yes. Adding to the venue questions, I'd also like to mention this question for Veronica. Building a parking ramp, also known as a parking garage to us weird Midwesterner people, that looked like they were doing. That'll be nice. Yes, that looked like it was almost done. Like we missed it by a month or two. But when that's done, you'll be able to, especially for people like me who have things that need to not be in hot environments, being able to park in a garage that is shaded from the sun would be great. And also you can just like roll across the, the sky bridge into the building. That's nifty. So
yeah,
stuff there.
Just more. I would gladly pay. Don't worry, it'll be paid to park there. But I would gladly pay to park there to have something that's a little more secure and all that. I'm not saying that it's a high crime area or anything like that. I haven't had any problems with people messing with my car or anything like that out there. I don't keep anything in my car, but it's just to have another option is nice. So
sure. Yep.
And it looks like there is even maybe some additional venue space that they're going to stick down there too, because part of it just looks like an actual like meeting space or something. I can't imagine them not adding more things. I mean, they've got the blessing of a lot of land there and everything, so we'll see.
Your guess is as good as mine. I have no info on
that. Our friend Ryan is asking Jim if it would be possible to have a live stream of the show running during the whole weekend.
Nope, not at all. That's a super quick no from me. Would you like to know why?
Yes.
It turns out when you fill 66,000 square feet with electromagnetic interference and radio frequency interference, cellular doesn't work. Neither does Wi-Fi. There are some solutions that we were able to cobble together specifically for tablers who needed Stripe processing, like credit card processing or something like that. That was ad hoc, last minute, not advertised, and not at all guaranteed for future shows. But no, it is prohibitively, it is physically difficult. And were we to hire a company for a wired solution, prohibitively expensive. It was something redonkulous, like $3,000 a day for 1 megabit. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
And not only that, but being a mostly volunteer-run show, there's also an equipment and personnel factor. You have to have someone in charge of that, and it's that much more to set up. I can just about hold down 2 talk tracks at the same time with volunteers. But to add streaming on top of that currently exceeds our current capabilities. So I'm not saying never, but I'm definitely saying no for the next year or two. There would have to be some sort of foolproof, reliable internet on some private band or channel or technology or something like that.
The one thing I can say about the cell phones is like Verizon and Cellcom, which is basically like Northeast Wisconsin Verizon. I got nothing but my prepaid phone from which goes off of T-Mobile towers. That was fine the whole weekend. So
reason being is that there's a T-Mobile cell tower on top of the venue building. So T-Mobile probably worked okay. But the thing is, even if it was working okay for you, the demands of streaming somewhat recognizable video, probably not a good idea. You may not have noticed it.
The cheap plan.
Yeah, well, and you may not have noticed it, but I'm sure it was cutting in and out as you moved around and things like that, and so can't really have that. So there are no plans whatsoever in the near future for live streaming the show. Apologies.
I had folks making payments for products using PayPal or Venmo apps. And it was somewhat variable. Some people were able to go boom and go right through. Other people would sit there. They'd have to step back while I was taking care of other people to get their thing to process through. A couple of people tried for like a couple of minutes, couldn't do it. left had to go to an ATM and come back to pay cash, and it's not stable. Even if it works, that doesn't mean the internet
There's no guarantee.
works.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, anywhere we would hold this, it's the same problem. I mean, like I said, you're filling a room full of EMI generating equipment. So there's not too much we can
Even
do
at
about it.
NFL stadiums without that equipment, good luck.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Sorry,
Jim. Have you considered just wrapping all the attendees in tinfoil? It's you just be like every year, like the new like name tag thing is actually just a Faraday pouch.
Either
You
that
just,
or
you
it's
slide your cell phone into.
Hormel, you're a TV dinner and you're popcorn and
If you show up covered in tinfoil, we give you a free burrito. Chipotle joke. Anyway, yeah.
Actually, before I forget, can I interject something? Many moons ago, Garth Beagle said something that was not picked up for a caption. Is there any estimates on attendance? Because we do not charge admission, which is a core tenet of the show, of the philosophy of the show that we are trying to hold on to, even as costs increase. Currently, it is completely free to attend, and we pride ourselves in that. Because we do not charge admission, we do not have official numbers for people who attended Saturday and Sunday. The unofficial estimate numbers, based on everyone who worked, volunteered, and so on, is 5,000 plus Saturday and 3,000 plus Sunday.
I was going to say it was at least 10 people.
Yeah.
I mean a solid 12 for sure.
I mean, two of them were me because I'm fat, so it's fine. Yes. Clicking buttons. Stand by. I got totally distracted by our conversation. One of the big things about the show every year isn't necessarily the show itself. It's the getting together with friends, especially at outside venues in the mornings or in the evenings. There were quite a few of those this year. One I'd like to bring up and ask people what they thought about was the pop-up bar run by Ron. What's his name?
Jeremy's Retro Bar.
Jeremy's Retro Bar.
Jeremy and
Megan
from Jeremy's Retro Bar.
Sponsored by Blue Scuzzy. They had a wonderful selection of blue-colored Curacao-colored drinks. That was fun. The drinks were strong. Lots of friends. Ron had an interesting interaction with a couple different people.
Yeah, there were some people that actually, we were having such a good time that there were people that were there for other events that decided to come over and join us for our good time, and that's fine. Nobody was really being a nuisance or anything like that. I mean, there was a young couple that kind of spent a lot of time, but they weren't just like mooching. They were over there like trying to tell us about their favorite Pokemon and like playing Munchkin and things like that. So they were kindred spirits and all this type of stuff. So when I say like, where's my purse lady, it is only with affection that I bring up the fact that she may not have had a purse at all that evening.
Yes.
She might have just been like, purses exist, now where's mine?
Also, Ron had his little MIDI cart. Little karaoke cart playing.
Yes,
That
it was.
fun.
I made a cart that had a Macintosh on it. It was a Macintosh and a SC55 and speakers and everything. So we could do MIDI karaoke. And I even went through all the trouble of sourcing 50, 60 songs that are kind of like wedding songs that have like the lyrics and everything like that. So people could get up there and sing. And at the beginning of the evening, I went around and I asked people, I'm like, hey, are you inebriated enough to sing? And they're like, no, give me 10 minutes. And then after 10 minutes, people absolutely came over there and sang a little song or two. And we got a couple things out. And then somebody came out and said, hey, like the lyrics part of this is really soft, but the voice part's really loud. And so I'm looking at the mixer and everything like that. And I kind of thought I had everything adjusted. Well, I guess it was quite loud because of where we were sitting. It kind of echoed up through. And so people in their rooms could hear people singing and stuff like that. And they were not super happy. So they called the front desk and just said, hey, can you tone it down or whatever. And so I'm sitting there and I'm trying to set people up on songs. And all of a sudden there are two big dudes wearing security outfits that came over there to talk to me because I'm big dude. So I guess you send big dudes. You send two big dudes in case big dude wants to play big dude. So they were like, hey, like this is really loud. And I said, oh, I had no idea. I said, I'm sitting here right next to it. It doesn't feel very loud. So I went over and I just turned everything down to like 25% volume. And then somebody came up and was going to sing a song. And the guy was like, you get ready to fire it up again? And I said, is it just too loud? You want me to shut it down? And he goes, yes. And I'm like, we're done. So I just went and turned everything off. And I went over there and talked to the guys. I said, hey, I had no idea that this was loud. I said, did somebody complain? And he goes, yeah, there's people up in the rooms and they said they can hear. And I said, well, don't get me wrong. I said, I wasn't doing this to cause anybody a hassle because I don't think there's anybody standing out here that wants to create any kind of friction between the event and the attendees. I said, this place is so perfect for all of our needs. I said, I really appreciate you guys just coming over and just being calm about it and being nice. And I was like, can I get you guys a water? Do you guys need anything? I said, they've got drinks and stuff over here that are non-alcoholic. Did you want to try something? And then they were like, tell us about this event. Like, what is this all about? And so gave them the spiel about the event. And they were like, oh, my daughter loves this stuff. Maybe she'll come next year. You should bring her. She'll probably love it. But it was, so even the stuff that could have been something where there might have been some friction, we got smoothed over pretty easily by just talking to people and not being a jerk. But it was a good time. And I'm going to do it better next year because if we have some of these breakout rooms and stuff like that, try to work it out where we can do some time in a breakout room because there was a point where the drinks, by other people's estimation, were gay bar strong. So they were like, it was like, I want to sing Hey Jude, but like really loud. Okay, let me see what I can work out for you.
Yeah, those drinks were strong, especially the stuff that Javier brought.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was the pop-up bar, and then Javier showed up with his own tequila.
Yeah. And
he's like, here, try this. Yes.
He put just a little bit in my cup, and I go, whoa! And so Garth put some water in there to dilute it for me. So I had a couple of those, and I was feeling pretty good when I left. Yeah.
It's like the flashpoint of that alcohol was below room temperature. I'm surprised it didn't catch fire. But yeah, no, that was fun. And then, I will say that one of our friends who couldn't be here, couldn't be at the event this year, Everything is Broken Garage, Ryan, we missed the snacks that he brought last year. All of the wonderful Canadian snacks, but we made up for it with extremely strong alcohol. So that was,
there you go.
That was fun times.
And for people working the show who had to stay functional the next day, they made a virgin version of it for me, and it was very tasty.
Yes.
Let's just say that we were all kind of lacking sleep the next morning. Yeah.
Headaches all around. One of the other cool things is the offsite things. Usually both Saturday and Sunday night, there's sometimes even Friday night, there is an offsite dinner. We went to, what was the name of the place we went to, Ron?
Giordano's.
Yes, Giordano's.
Giordano's.
The pizza place is just a couple blocks down. True Chicago deep dish stuff, and spaghetti, and
depending on who you
stuff.
ask, right?
Well,
you have an authentic Chicagoan here on the chat. Generally, in the suburbs, Lou Malnati's is best. In Chicago, Gotcha. It is Giordano's. But they're both fine examples of spinach deep dish pizza, a Chicago favorite.
There you go.
They're excellent.
Hung out with a lot of cool people at that, and the cool thing, at least from my experience, is that we got to mix up the way the tables were, and you got to have people adjacent to but not part of your direct friend group sitting nearby, so you got to kind of mix up who you spoke to. It wasn't just the folks you hang out in Discord or online all the time with. We had the wonderful folks from Juicy Crumb were there at our end of the table, and we got to hear, kind of what things are like across the pond, and that was fun. And then, of course, there are other nights where you go to the classic Portillo's, which is now a VCF Midwest staple. Dave, you went there, I believe, and Tom, and
I think Dave is part of that tradition.
Yes,
Dana.
and of course their hot dogs and cheesesteak things are notoriously famous. And then finally, Galloping Ghost, and I think we need to mix the concept of Galloping Ghost with con crud, because there's a prevailing theory that a lot of the people who got con crud got it there, but I'm not convinced. I think it was just a big mixer across multiple days. But of course, Galloping Ghost is a Chicagoland favorite arcade. And they have like 2 buildings like down the block from each other.
They actually have like 4 buildings, but only like there's one that's pins, and then there's others that's arcades. But they have several other storefronts on that street that are like their business offices, their repair shop, all that type of stuff. So, but I will argue that if you got sick at Galloping Ghost, isn't it really Capcom crud?
How do I turn off my stuff?
Yes.
It was a good time. It's actually, we all went and ate. I know that people went to Portillo's and things. I didn't go to Portillo's this year because I'm Portillo'd out. But we went to a really nice Serbian restaurant where math was not on the menu, but good food and great service was. So yeah, it was tough because it was like trying to get them to split the check, and it was like just split it up by people that are sitting next to each other. It's just like these people, because they were like, we can only split the check 9 ways, and it's like, that's fine, so split it 9 ways, and we'll just break it up like these 3 people, 3 people, 3 people. Well, it was like they could not figure that out. So some people got a bill that was like $98, and some people got like a bill, but then just they for $40 or something. So they didn't really just try to evenly distribute it or anything like that. They just kind of did whatever. And it got to the point where people were sitting there like trying to do Euclidean geometry, like they're really like they're in the weeds. It's like the formulas are flying past their head, like and I'm just like, you know what, we just need to pay this so that we can leave. I feel like a prisoner at this point. So I was just like, one of the ones, give me one of the $98 ones, out the door. It was really good. My food was amazing. We had coffee. We sat there for a really long time and just relaxed and stuff. Dave's son got a completely raw burger, but I think it's because they forgot his food, and then we're like trying to like really rush and try to make good on it and stuff. And they did offer some other stuff, but I think he was kind of upset. So it was just like, no, I'm not interested, thank you. But everybody else seemed to get edible food that was arrived in a timely way.
Hamburger tartare.
Yes.
No. No, thank you. Yes. Well, we're kind of heading on up to the end of the show here. Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about that they want to mention about VCF Midwest, the venue, Jim's awesome work this year, helping make the audiovisual stuff work? Anything like that?
I had a great time. I've forgotten more about the event than I probably remember. But what I do remember is I cannot wait to go back next year.
Yes.
Same.
Agreed 100%. Next year, I'm going to hopefully have 2 tables because one table was very tight.
Yeah.
And
so
2 tables.
Next year, be on the corner, and then you can be like, that's right, I got the best slice of lasagna right here, and you can own that. You can own that whole
2
thing.
tables on the corner.
We did have a good corner.
Yes. Yeah, I was like, that was a high traffic area where you were set up. So.
Oh no, I'm not complaining about no.
If you had
Positioning
both of
was
it,
not.
it'd probably be. Yeah.
It's just you stuck me next to Sloopy, and I had to like sit like with my butt touching his butt for like 2 days, and it was just like I'm kidding. That's
Ooh.
I
But
was
no,
so happy. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I'm gonna say I was so happy to meet Sloopy. I didn't know he was real. My gosh, he's
Same.
real. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Jack 68K.
And Jack 68K, got to meet him in person,
Mhm.
and he looks just like his stickers that he hands out.
Yes.
For me though, Friday I gave some of my friends some of these clear analog covers for their classic machines, and I gave out Steve Joe,
I got one.
Ron,
Yep. Mhm.
Macintosh Barbarian, Steve, and I'm forgetting that person. But anyway, so I gave them. They're all, and just if you have Mac Effects, my gosh, and he told me next day. He said, "Hey, I have 5 people that want these already." I said, "Well,
Better work
they're not
fast.
production yet."
Better work fast.
So anyway,
And a cottage
but,
industry was born.
yeah. But anyway, I had fun giving them out to do that, get that out of the way, and so hope they enjoy them and stuff. And like I said, they're my friends, and I want to give them some goodies. So yeah, I can hardly wait to be there again in 2020. 2026. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You just take the year and add 1, Dave.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
One more.
Just 1
you know,
more.
it's that math thing again. At the
Just
restaurant,
one more year.
really
Yeah,
threw me off.
yeah.
Too much mortgage.
But this was a good year. I picked up a lot of great stuff. There were people I think something I would say last year that wasn't so great is I think it was a brand new venue and people were kind of like a little cagey on prices and stuff. And I think this year people very much were very kind of ready to make a deal and didn't want to carry things home, and that makes a lot that makes for a really good event, because if you go there and you get stiff-armed by the first 4 people you talk to, it really makes you feel like, why'd you bring this stuff? This is really heavy to carry. I did have to say to a few people that it's Sunday at 3 p.m. and it's still there. It's been there since Friday. It's like, are you ready to make a deal on this? And a couple people were like, I just don't know. I could put it on eBay. It's like, if you're going to put it on eBay, it'd already be on eBay. What's your real price on this? This is awful heavy to carry home. Let's make a deal on it. And people were very willing to do that. They were like, you know what? I brought it here. Why am I taking it home? And so I got some good deals on some Sierra big box adventure games. I found a LucasArts game I've been looking for a long time. There were people that brought things this year that I've never seen at the show before. So I think that having a table fee knocked out some of the folks that I had seen in years past that keep bringing the same bucket of case screws and basically exhausting table space for things that they don't really want to sell, and for whatever reason they keep bringing year after year after year. So it did seem to kind of filter out some time wasters, so that's a positive thing.
You've discovered our terrible secret for which I now need to kill you.
Oh no.
Was it one of those the wife says, get rid of this stuff, or at least try to, so they overpriced it?
Yeah.
Don't worry. There was a guy that had some stuff there that I looked at and I was kind of interested in. Steve was kind of interested in. People kept going up and messing with things at his booth. And so there was a very expensive item that was on top of the booth. I took it, I placed it behind the booth. And I said, when this guy comes back, he'll be the guy going, that's how we'll know that that's the guy selling it. Because there was no other information about who this person was. And so finally got over there and he was like, oh yeah, I got the rest of it at home. Okay, well, how much is this? Well, I don't know if I want to sell it separate. Brother, my brother in Christ, why did you bring part of it? If you don't want to just sell this part, you should bring all of it. The other thing that I'll complain, this has got nothing to do with the event, it's sellers and stuff like that. The combination of people that, number one, they don't write prices on things. Put some prices on stuff. A roll of blue painter's tape is like $3. Just stick a little thing on there.
$25 at Dollar Tree.
Yeah, just throw a price on it and a little sign that says negotiable or I want to haggle. Whatever it is, you'll get to where the price is, okay? But then also the people that are like, hey, is this your booth? Yes. Okay, tell me about this item. Well, I can't tell you about it. That's my buddy's item. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what. Do you have a way to conjure your buddy? Oh, I don't know. I don't know where he's at. Yeah, that's not what I asked. I said, do you have a way to conjure your buddy? I said, possibly with a cellular telephone, or just saying, hey, whatever your name is, your hair's on fire. Just whatever it is to get him over here. But there were a couple of times where people have still not figured that out. So it's like people, they've got all the stuff, they've got cool things. They brought them to sell, but they just can't get it over the finish line of how to actually like sell it. So that's a thing, that's homework for everybody that's selling stuff to work on. Put prices on
And I'll
things.
admit I did not do a very good job at that myself, though. One of those millions of lessons for next year.
It's fine. I've got a tube sock and an orange with your name on it.
All right.
Doesn't leave a mark. Yes.
It does,
As someone who's on the
doesn't leave a mark at all.
Back when we ran previous venues and shows and we subsidized everything ourselves, free tables. Yes, we did have people taking advantage of that situation. So I'm glad Ron noticed it and called it out. That yes, some of the riffraff.
Yes, don't worry. I was just less than kind. I was less than kind to those people in real life when they did that previous years. Because there was a guy that I've got a great story.
Well,
big long table full of crap. It's like wires. Like you just keep bringing wires. I've seen these wires 4 years in a row, buddy. It's just throw them out. Just throw them out at this point.
Yeah.
But it was like a big thing, and it was like he had a bunch of DE9 gender changers, and I was like, perfect. This is what I need. This is saving me having to order these all the way from China. Had a handful of them, and I'm like, what do you want for each one of these? I want $4 a piece. I just picked up his big pile of wires and just threw them in there and gave the box a shake. I was like, good luck. I was like, this is on. I mean, if you're coming to waste people's time, by God, stay home. $75 does a lot to put some skin in the game and let these people know that it's like you're gonna have to probably sell something and not just take up space at this event.
Yeah, the people who took advantage of our free tables would actually cause us trouble. I mean, they actually made extra work. Sometimes they would not clean up after themselves. Sometimes they would put questionable material in the free pile, like wood, just wood. Don't know why you're putting wood in the vintage technology
that spicy
free
pillow
pile.
was pretty entertaining.
Yes. So yeah, well, that's all good. I keep seeing this caption up. Jack 68K is asking, are the dates already set for 2026? Since it's been literally just 1 week since the last show ended, no, there are no dates for 2026. But as previously stated, we aim for the second weekend of September. So if you need that rough estimate for planning, use the second weekend of September.
basically.
I have it on authority that it's sometime between January 1st, 2026 and December 31st, 2026, somewhere in the middle, unless it's scheduled outside that.
Like, is it going to be scheduled outside the environment?
Outside the environment. Well, it's if the front falls off the event, we'll know.
Actually, we thought we would schedule it on February 29th, so you've got to be in the correct year in order to visit the event.
Oh, you should have it on the 32nd of March.
Smart.
Do not touch the
Okay. I think this is a good point to call the show closed. If anybody had anything else they wanted to add before we round robin and let everybody know where we're all coming from. No? Yes? No? Cool? No. Ron, tell everybody
Hello.
where they can find you.
Hi, everybody. It's Ron from Ron's Computer Videos, as you can tell. You can find me on typically the second week of September in beautiful Schaumburg, Illinois, at the Schaumburg Convention Center, and occasionally as a secret guest at an Indian wedding. But if you're interested in what I'm doing week to week, you can find out more at ronscompvids.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Dave.
You can find me usually every Sunday at Days of Vintage Apple Tech. We do Sunday streams. We have a lot of our YouTube friends with us working on things. Sometimes we just yak a lot. We have a lot of fun. You can also go to dvat.net. You can look up all my socials on that there. And yeah.
Jesse.
Yeah, so first off, I'm on planet Earth. You can find me here 365 days a year. As far as my social media presence, if Amy's still in the chat, I'm not as organized and unscripted as her. I'd like to be someday, but anyway. But mostly I hang out on YouTube, Discord, do random streams when time permits. Also have a website, i803866.com, and you can see stuff there too. So
soon to be sued by Intel.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the lawsuit, the cease or desist.
They already tried that with AMD and lost, so you're good. You're solid.
I held him down and tried to upgrade his Mathco at the event, and his body rejected it. So I think we're stuck for a bit.
Yes. Mr. Jim.
Where
can people find you and all of your awesome things you've been doing for a billion years?
Moby Gamer on Blue Sky, and the YouTube channel that anyone would care about is The Old School PC. And last video there is from a very long time ago, but I hope to spin that back up again.
Cool. And last and certainly least, your ill-prepared, bad at public speaking host, me. My name's Joe Stroh-Snyder with Joe's Computer Museum. You can find out everything that I'm doing, get my social media links, or, pick up a trinket here or there to help keep your old computer running at jcm-1.com. So thank you to everyone who showed up tonight. Thank you especially to Jim, who took a big chunk of time out of his busy schedule editing the VCF videos for this year. Thanks to Dave and Jesse for showing up. Thanks to Ron for tolerating me.
I think Ron. I like for Ron a lot better because it's got broader reaching implications.
Yes. Ron, just thank you. Thank you for Ron. Soft Dorothy. Hey, John, how you doing?
It's got a real Andrew Gold feel to it.
And thank you to all the awesome people who stopped by the chat tonight, stopped by to watch the video, leave comments for us to answer things. And you are one of many reasons.
Can we take 2 seconds? Can we take 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Since he showed up, it was really cool to see John Calhoun of Soft Dorothy Software or you could just say Soft Dorothy. It's like saying electronic email, I guess. But it was really cool to get to hang out and see John Calhoun at the event. You don't always see these luminary figures kind of pop up. We've got a lot of heroes that come to these events, but John is a real hero of mine. Very influential in kind of Macintosh gaming and just a really nice guy. And I hope everybody got to meet him and take a picture and just kind of, ask a few questions because he's a very knowledgeable guy, worked for Apple, has done so much that he's got really wonderful stories. So John, I hope you make it back again next year.
And if anybody thinks that he's done, oh no, he is doing some really, really cool stuff with electronic projects.
Yes.
That he was telling me about at the show. You need to follow him on social media. Go find him and follow him. He is doing some really nifty things. So good stuff.
This is the beginning of that second act on a lot of things. So definitely head over to Steam, pick up a copy of Glypha. I think it's only $4 right now too. So if you're a big fan of some of that classic Macintosh gaming, it's updated. And he also earlier this year released the source code to a lot of his projects and unfinished work and things like that, where people can absolutely play those things. So such a great thing for the preservation effort of this hobby. I talk about it a lot, where it's like, everybody, you got all the machines are on lockdown. We've got enough pristine examples of the Quadra 700. Thank you. We're full. But like, the stories and the source and all of this expertise and stuff, that is the thing that we've got to protect now, because once it's gone, it's gone. So thank you, John, for doing the effort and putting it out there, so that way that it, like, people in 50 years can look back at this stuff and have nostalgia for it.
100%.
Yep.
Yes, is always blame Ron, especially if the outcome is good, because I'm sure he had something to do with it.
It's not always true. I've got good numbers. They're not 100% though. But so anyway, sorry to derail the end of the show, but I did.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. It's fine. I've got a cake in the oven that's burning. It's fine.
Oh, I smell something.
That said, show's over. Thanks everybody for stopping by, being awesome in the chat. Thank you to everybody, all of our guests and our hosts. And we will see you all on the next one in, it's going to be the 5th. It's going to be October 5th. We will see you all on October 5th. Bye, everybody.